We're here again.
I am Lazy Dude.
And I'm Chris Filmmaker.
And we are here to give you another list of different category of movies. This time we're actually going for a category. Last time we went for the top 10 best movies directed by Steven Spielberg. But this time we decided to take on, because it's a trying time right now with COVID. So
we need a little laughter.
We need to laugh. We need to laugh. And we figured we would share with you the top 5 comedies that made us laugh the hardest. Now, are all yours comedies, or
all mine are comedies?
Okay, good, because there's some movies that have made me laugh really hard, but I wouldn't classify them as comedy. I would say probably the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater is in Avengers when Hulk just smacks Loki around like a rag doll. That's got to be probably the most hardest I've ever laughed.
And I didn't laugh for that scene.
What?
I didn't laugh.
So we're gonna have some different opinions on what's funny. Some right, some wrong.
I had a smile on my face, but it didn't cause me to laugh.
I don't know.
It takes a lot to make me laugh.
Or it takes it to be random. So let's get down to it. These are the top 5 best comedies according to Lazy Dude and Chris Filmmaker. So number 5 on my list, I decided to go for a film that is probably one of the films I laughed the hardest at a movie theater. That is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Wow. This would have been my later on down my list, but yes, that's a great movie. I
laughed so hard with this movie. It appealed to me on everything as a geek. I loved it. The music, the songs they were playing, they were great. I actually would listen to the soundtrack outside of the movie just because I thought it was fun and pretty cool, and they sounded fun. But the humor is what really hits me home with Scott Pilgrim. I love the quick pace of it. When Knives comes over to see Scott and he doesn't want to see her, so his roommate says, she's like, "Is Scott here actually?" And then he just jumps out the window. He just left. The quick-wittedness of the lines, everything is so fast. So many people in this movie before they were really big, and or in superhero movies, like Chris Evans before he was Captain America, Brie Larson before she was Captain Marvel. I guess Brandon Routh was already Superman when he was in this film. But anyways, but I just love the pacing of the movie.
Don't forget how do you say it? RV Plaza? Or
yes.
Is it Aubrey Plaza?
It's Aubrey.
Aubrey
Plaza.
She plays a character in this too.
Wait, who is she?
She's the girl that keeps getting muted because she says nothing but.
No, I know who she is. I'm just saying.
I don't know her character.
I was just going for superheroes, and then I thought you were like, she played another one, like she did. But Anna Kendrick is in this movie too. She just plays a small role. Macaulay Culkin's brother, and there's so many great performances by all the different characters in this film. But it was just, I love the integration of the graphics into the different fighting style. They're so random and different. Each one of them is different, but they're always so fun. As a Canadian, I like all the different fun Canada references to that they got to it. I enjoy it a lot. I watched it. This was actually the first movie I watched with my wife as a married man, and she said she liked it a lot too. She said it was a movie she felt she could watch it again right after. So it's a good start for our marriage.
All right. Well, I will say, I really like everything from the cinematography. Man, that opening just gets me every time when the opening credits sequence. The beginning of it is so
the room just extends.
Yeah, it's the most creative thing I've seen in a movie, and the alternate endings, of course, was so clever. You feel like you're in a video game. It brings you in, and the laughs keep coming. I still to this day remember the line that his sister gives her. "Time heals all wounds, little brother." Anna Kendrick gives the line. Oh man, what an awesome movie.
That's your funny line. Time heals all wounds.
I don't know.
I mean, pick like bread makes you fat. I'm a big fan. Why wouldn't you be? I mean, pick something else. Not time heals all wounds. That's a good one. Good one, Anna Kendrick.
Well, he just gets dumped.
Anyways. Well, the funny part about that scene is that she says that, and then she goes on the phone with somebody else, like, "Oh yeah, my brother just got dumped. It's so pathetic." And so it's like she's not actually great at caring. But anyways.
Okay, well, my number 5 is Peewees Big Adventure.
Oh, okay.
Well, now this is an adventure, but it's mostly grounded in comedy.
No. I wasn't saying okay because it was adventure. I was saying okay because I will say I find it's amusing. It's an amusing movie. I don't dislike the movie.
It's not for sale, Francis.
It's like that's the thing. The movie's just so over the top.
I know. I love it.
I can see why it appeals to you.
And Francis gets shooted off the bike at the end. It's the best thing.
I don't remember a lot about it. I remember the large Marge and the scary face that she does for absolutely no reason.
The animation in that is pretty weird.
Yeah. It's just like, what the flipping heck? I remember, I don't even remember how he
Do you remember the dance? He gets up on the bar counter and he does da-dun-da-da-dun-dun-dun.
Honestly, I've only seen this movie once and I think I was tired.
Oh, you were tired? I watched this thing 5 times. It's Tim Burton, one of his best.
Well, since I don't have a lot to say, take the lead, bro.
Well, okay. There's a lot of funny things like when he gets a thumb. He has an actual big thumb. Then he's thumbing to hitch a ride. I can't remember a lot of like outright laughs, but I just know like there's so much that happens, and like what about the scene where he flies out of the studio and he lands and he skids his bike in front of all those kids, and what about right after that he goes to the pet store and it's on fire, so he's got to get all the animals out, and he keeps looking at the snakes and he's like, nah, I'm gonna pass. I'm not getting those snakes. They can burn. I don't care.
I do remember that scene actually.
He keeps passing them up, and finally he looks at them and he's like, oh, okay, fine, and he takes them and he passes out because he's.
I remember that scene. That was actually funny.
Yeah. Well,
I will say it's creative. Of course, anything Tim Burton is going to be super creative, and the style is definitely the. Yeah, it's just it's an interesting. It's an interesting movie. I wonder if you would enjoy it more if you were on drugs. You know, this is crack.
Hey,
sorry.
Oh man,
I just had to reference that. But. Anyway.
But I just love his journey. Exhibit X! He's on X! He's gone through almost all the letters of the alphabet just to try and prove that this is what happened to his bike. It's like so over the top, it's hilarious.
Alright. If you say so. Okay. Number 4 on my list. It's nothing but a slap in the face. It's nothing but a fat rat race. Oh yeah. I love that movie. Rat Race is one of those comedies that is just like, I think it was one of those movies that it was big at the moment, but I don't think it's necessarily lasted the test of time. I don't know how many people still remember Rat Race. I don't feel like it's ever brought up too much. But I love this movie. It's such a... It's if you haven't seen it or you don't know, the basic premise of the movie is that a bunch of strangers are chosen at random in a casino to participate in a contest. The contest is you have to get to Silver City, New Mexico. The first one there to get their key into this lockbox will get a duffel bag of $2 million. And so they have to race. It's a race to see who can get there first. They try to go on the planes, but then it doesn't work because this hilarious scene where the guys try to pull the tower down with their truck, but then the tower pulls the truck up. And it played the classical music, and it's a movie that has such great physical comedy, but also like great wordplay and great moments, like the moment where they screw over the squirrel lady and she gives them a shortcut, and then as they're going down this mountain, crashing to their death, there's signs that say, "You should have bought a squirrel," and as they fly off, there's this graveyard of cars of all these people this woman has gotten killed. There's the scenes with like they steal Hitler's car. There's the different scenes like with Rowan Atkinson as the narcoleptic guy. He's like, I mean. And of course, you cut back to the millionaires, and they're always betting on just random things. Like, there's a deleted scene that I always thought was hilarious where they were playing Monopoly, but with real money.
Really?
Yeah, I always thought that was funny too. But the ending is a little weird, where they just go to a Smash Mouth concert. But
gotta love Smash Mouth.
Not really, but I wish they kind of like did an actual winner, but I think that's kind of the point. It's the same like with the old movie it was based off of. It's a mad world.
Right.
Where it's a race to the finish, but
yeah, it's not exactly a remake, but it's almost like they took the same idea, just they switched it up.
I prefer this over It's a Mad World, because The Mad World, like, they had so many characters in that film, you didn't care about all of them.
Well, and I think that one just gets, like, some people find it as a classic, but I just think that one just seems so much drawn out.
Yeah.
Whereas Rat Race, it seems a lot more quicker.
Yeah.
It doesn't drag.
No.
It doesn't drag, like, at all. Like, even when basically, there's scenes like Cuba Gooding Jr., the bus breaks down. Like, none of that seems dragging. They cut. They don't show them broke down for hours. They cut.
Every character has a hilarious thing, and it's like different styles of it. And I must say, this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the movie, but this movie has my favorite blooper of all time, and that is where they're supposed to. It's when they're all discussing whether they should go or not. And John Levis walks out with Cuba Gooding Jr. He's like, $2 million. How do you even know it's there? Did he show you the money? Cuba Gooding Jr. takes a moment and says, "No, he didn't show me the money." Because show me the money. So I always thought that was hilarious.
He just wanted him to get him to say
He made a fun little reference there, but the movie itself, like every character has so many fun moments, and like. Just when you think one character has the advantage and does like, oh, this guy's in a helicopter, he's definitely going to get there. But then the girl he's in
turns crazy.
Yeah, she goes crazy and then attacks her boyfriend with the helicopter. And
man, they must have got a good stuntman for that scene.
They had so many great scenes, like especially with the two brothers. Played by Seth Green. I don't know who the other guy is. But that scene, like they had so many good scenes. They had the scene where they are chasing the guy to get the keys back, and then they gets roped up in a cow in a hot air balloon chase, and that cow keeps on showing up later in the film and other parts. Oh, there's just so many great lines and great moments that made me laugh so hard. If you haven't seen Rat Race, I thoroughly recommend you checking it out.
My number 4 is a movie that came out in the 90s, and who could forget Chris Farley's best movie, Tommy Boy. That's right, I picked Tommy Boy because it's hilarious. Now, they couldn't do this movie again if they tried, because it put a cap on these types of movies where you have a guy that's really no good at anything. He's not very smart, he's not very bright. It's teamed up with a guy that's well sophisticated and knows what he's doing because he's gone to university and he's a real smart guy, and he can't stand Tommy Boy. And this is a buddy movie, but in all the right reasons. And
all the right reasons.
Well, it's just hilarious.
I don't remember this movie.
You don't remember it?
It's possible I haven't seen it or only seen parts.
You gotta see it again because, man, oh man. It's like, what about the line when Chris Farley puts on, what's his name? Just give me a minute here.
We'll edit this out.
Yeah, please edit this out. It's not Seth Green. It's
David Spade.
Yeah, okay. So, the scene where he puts on David Spade's jacket, and he's like, fat guy in a little suit, fat guy in a little suit, why are you doing this to me? And he just stretches poof. And then they're trying to make a sail, and he's pulling his hair out, and he's got his hair sticking up, and every single sail they're trying to get is just a bomb, and then he lights the guy's car on fire. He's like, oh man. Okay, and I can't remember a lot of lines, so I'm not doing it justice, but I guarantee that you'll be laughing at this one. They hit the deer and they put it in the car, and the deer comes back to life.
Oh, put it in the car. You don't have to do that. Just get it off the road if you can.
Yeah, they felt bad for hitting Bambi.
Probably Bambi's mother. That's how it is. I don't really remember Tommy Boy all that much. Sorry to say, I can't really help you on this one. Sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, number 3 on my list is the Lego Movie, and that's just because this was one of the biggest surprises I've ever had when it comes to a movie. Because, I thought it was just going to be a cash cow. I didn't think anybody was going to teach it seriously. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, buy this product and buy this product. And there's definitely that throughout the film. But it is so creative and it's so fun. I gotta say, there's just so many random parts of this movie that I just can't help but laugh at. I don't know what Bad Cop's obsession is with chairs, but it just starts with him throwing a chair on the ground when he's interrogating Emmett, but then he just starts going crazy with it, grabbing it, wrestling it to the ground, and then he'll just, when he gets away, Emmett gets away, he's like, dang it! He picks up a chair out of nowhere and kicks it, one of his men is running away and it still hits him. And then when he turns good, he's whacking people with chairs. I don't know, I thought the chair part was hilarious. But there's so many other good scenes, I love the part where the bad guys come in and invade all the heroes, and then the NBA All-Stars from the all day, which I remember they did sell. They did sell the NBA All-Stars Lego figures. I remember we were subscribed to Lego Maniac, and so they did show. Those guys did show up in there as people we could order. We never did, but it goes Are you all ready for this? Do. And then they build a catapult. They fire and it hits it. Does nothing. It's like, oh shoot, they were ready for that. And they're like, we gotta get into the Batmobile. Quick, everyone in the invisible jet! And they show up again. Shoot nothing and it explodes. It's like, dang it. But of course, the scene that made me laugh the most in the Lego Movie has to be with Benny, the space guy, because through the whole movie he keeps on trying to make a spaceship and everyone keeps on telling him that it won't work and that it's not a good time to be building a spaceship, and he's so disappointed. And then at the end climax, they need a way to get out. He's like, I can build a spaceship! And they're like, do it. And he just starts going, spaceship, 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 destroying everything in his path, just yelling, spaceship, spaceship! That is probably the second hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater. I was rolling on the floor laughing. Chris Pratt's is Chris Pratt, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, I got the Pine and the Pratt confused for a second, but yeah, him as Emmett is so hilarious. Elizabeth Banks is funny. Morgan Freeman has my eyes can see everything. I'm blind. stuff like that. There's so many great...
The line that got me was, that was the most stupidest thing in the world. Please, what's her name?
Wild Style.
Please, Wild Style, let's be reasonable here. Emmett, that just is simply the worst.
That was the worst.
I don't know why, but that got me. And then, what about the line who's, a house separated from itself
would be better than this. Gets on his rocket chair and, Abraham Lincoln, you get back here. There's just so many great, and there's so many tiny hidden gems in there that you won't see unless you watch it multiple times. There was this one scene, and it's just a tiny scene, but it made me laugh, and it took me like 5 times watching this movie for me to see it, where it's like Emmett's flying in the air, and there's a bunch of pigs flying with him, and as he's about to fall and about to hit the ground, Wild Style catches him, but the pigs fall and they do hit the ground, and it's just for a split second, but when they hit the ground, they turn into bacon. Or maybe pork, or maybe like sausages, I don't know. But they turn into something when they hit the ground. It's just like, that is hilarious. Just small little details like that. The world is so creative. I love everything about the Lego Movie. It's just it's so much fun. And it's like every time I thought it was going to lose me, it kept me involved. I thought it was going to be like, it's going to be the hero who's an idiot, but everyone thinks is a great hero and is going to be revealed at the end. But no, it did it for like 2 seconds and stopped. And I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm back on board now. And there's so many great lines and so many great parts of it. Even the ongoing joke of, honey, where are my pants? And then Wild Style just gives him a pair of pants. Here's your pants. Series over. I don't know. I find the movie super hilarious, and it's number 3 on my list.
Well, my number 3 is a movie that no one has probably seen in a long time. It's called Modern Times. Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, we're going old school.
We are going old school. Now, I know what you're thinking. I was the same way. Slapstick.
Oh no.
Old style, even like the silent films, I'm not into. No, I actually found that I was quite fond of them, and I got the Charlie Chaplin collection a long time.
I haven't seen this one, but I watched The Great Dictator, and that was hilarious.
That one was hilarious, but also very symbolic.
And very, very,
very symbolic. For the time they made that movie could have been illegal to make.
Well, I don't even think America was in the war yet, so...
Yeah.
So
they could have been like, no, we are not touching this. Okay, but we're talking about modern times.
Yes.
Now, this movie is all over the place. Like, there's a scene where Charlie Chaplin is tightening all these bolts. It's like an assembly line. And then the guy comes over and he's like, here, let me show you how to do it. He grabs it from him, and he takes it. And then so Charlie Chaplin's like, he's in the mode, so he keeps doing the clicking with his hands and tightening and stuff, and then they do another assembly line. But it's amazing how they do this. Like they lose the motion, and they got to catch up because this thing is way over here now, and they got to go run after it and fix that. And well, now this one's over there. Now they got to run after it and grab that. And okay, it's hard to explain. You got to watch it. But I will say, this is the movie that made me laugh the hardest, especially when he pretends to be a waiter. Oh my gosh, that just killed me. I didn't expect slapstick comedy to be so funny, but it's still so funny. And Charlie Chaplin is always there to giving 100%, and he falls down, he gets right back up again, falls down again, gets back up again, and it's got a very good story. There's actually, I couldn't tell you what the story was because I was laughing so hard. I got to rewatch it again because it's been a long time. But in the stuff that they do things for real. Like when like they're working with all the gears and stuff, and they have tools being thrown into there, and there's things flying in there. That's really happening. And so. Yeah, I don't even remember when it was made, but it was really early on in film history, and it is definitely worth checking out if you can.
Well,
Modern Times.
A lot of recommendations from Chris. Number 2 on my list is a movie that is very near and dear to my heart. It is Hot Fuzz. This is a action comedy, or probably I would call it a comedy that has action in it. And and it is a movie that I just think is absolutely hilarious. It is directed and written by Edgar Wright, the same guy who did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. So Edgar Wright always has my funny bone and always knows just how to keep me invested in. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg are one of the best comedic duo teams. There's so many lines in this movie that I find absolutely hilarious. Like, when is your birthday? 22nd of February. What year? Every year. Oh, get out! You know, it's just like, I love that. It's like, what's your birthday? Get out! You know, it's just like, and then there's just like so many different lines where it's just like, we had enough, you and your monkey. Didn't mean me all that. And he's holding up a stuffed monkey. I don't know. There's just so many funny moments in Hot Fuzz and so many hidden moments, and it's such a funny thing because you think there's this dark hidden conspiracy around the town, and there is. It's just not about the dark and twisted thing you thought it was. It's about something a lot simpler. For the greater good.
The greater good.
Shut up! I think this movie is like a classic, and I remember watching the trailers for it and really wanting to see it, and then when I did, and it didn't disappoint. I loved it.
Yeah, I think some of the funniest lines in the movie are basically during the end. And man, and even the ending is got such a shoot 'em up action.
Yeah,
that's when it really gets going for me. That's the ending is the best in this movie, and I find it really ironic that there was all this shooting and no one got killed. Well, no bad guys, I should say,
except for the exception maybe the guy with the mine.
Well,
but besides that, it's just like, but I love that it's just like, for the movie itself, there's just so many great lines. One of my favorite of all time has to be, he's made himself Judge, Jury, and Executioner! He's not Judge, Judy, and Executioner! It's just like, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg play off each other so well as this super serious go-to cop, and this other one is just like a fan of action movies and thinks that it is real life, and it becomes real life, and in such an amazing sequence. But also I love the stuff of like a cop trapped into a small town. He wants to give it his all and do his best, and it's just like small stuff, like they send him after the goose has escaped. You know, or the swans escaped. And or stuff like that. But I just think that the movie's humor, it can get dark sometimes, really dark. But you just have great actors, and you got the guy who did Timothy Dalton, or not the guy who did Timothy Dalton, who did James Bond for a couple of movies. And then we also have stuff like, I just thought about this a little while ago. The actor who plays that big guy that just goes, yarp, narp. I'm pretty sure that's the Hound from Game of Thrones. I don't know. I haven't confirmed that yet, but I wanted to check that up and see. But if I'm right, I'm keeping it in. If I'm wrong, I'm not. But there's so many great actors. I love the film. Hot Fuzz is just instant classic for me. And yeah.
Definitely an enjoyable time. It's something that I've already seen the film 4 times. Probably going to see it again, but it's going in the vault for a while.
Don't want to overdo it.
Don't want to overdo
Gotta
it.
let it marinate for a while.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Right?
All right. My number 2 is a movie that I hold in high regard because it's not only one of John Hughes' best films, it's a movie that is hilarious. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
That's a classic.
Yes.
Although, I will admit, I've seen most of this movie. but not all of it. I've seen automobiles.
What?
I haven't. I never came in on the beginning, so I missed the planes. I never got in with the train part.
Well,
I always come in when he's like, "Give me my effing car."
now,
You know?
let me break it down to you. Now, it may confuse people why it's called Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, but then you don't realize this, but they play a theme in the movie. Yeah, it's interesting how they kind of switch things up. Like they go through all of them. They go from the plane. They go from I can't remember in which order, but they go
plane, car, and I guess I have seen the train because the trains
subway,
at the end.
Everything kind of transportation,
Yeah.
and they play a good thing. They're even on a bus once.
I will say, even though I haven't seen all of this film, I've seen just most of it. There's so many great moments. Even I was considering maybe putting it on my list. I love the part where they're going down the wrong way of the road, and he's like, "You're going the wrong way." "Oh, he's drunk. How would he know where we're going?" "Yeah, how would he know?" And then when they go through the two semis, they look at each other. One of them sees a skeleton. The other sees John Candy as the devil, laughing hysterically for a second. It's so many great.
And those aren't pillows.
Yeah. Where's your hand? It's in between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
And this got good drama in it too, like when
unexpected drama.
Yeah, it's like, just like when he says everything he can't stand about the guy, and he's like, "You want to hurt me? Go ahead, I can take it." Oh man, John Candy delivers a great dramatic role. Like when he's serious, you really feel for him.
That's the thing. It's like not always these silly actors can pull off seriousness,
especially when you understand the context and what happened in the end of the movie.
It's like the scene where he's just talking to his wife outside when he's alone in the car.
It makes more sense.
It makes sense, when you know the ending. But also, it's just like you feel the character is real. John Candy just has such a warmth to him as an actor. He'd gone too soon, but he was great. And Steve Martin was great in that movie. He always plays the uptight jerk, and he does it flawlessly because he's great at it. But he's also very relatable. You know, the scene where he doesn't get the car is just. I mean, a little bit too many swears for my taste. But,
mine too, but
you're sympathizing with his rage.
Yes, and I gotta say, it's been from my number 2 spot and my number 1 spot. It's been back and forth for a long while, and I just think this is such a wonderfully directed movie. I mean, you know, like the scene where they're in the back of a truck, right when the truck pulls up, the dude's like, "Oh yeah, my wife's gonna come out." It's like, that's so barbaric. Like, why would you get your wife to do it when there's 2 strong men? And he gets, this baby came out sideways. Holy crap, bud. And
or when they get pulled over after the car's a wreck and John Candy's saying all the things that's wrong with the car. He's like, but the radio still works. Don't ask me how. I mean, it's great. It's a great one. One day I hope to finish it all.
Start from the beginning, then go to the middle, then go to the end.
Seems pretty straightforward. Okay, the number 1 movie on my list, and this is just, it's a little cheating not cheating isn't like, it's still a comedy, but it's just like, it's a movie from my childhood, so I'm not sure if any other film could surpass it, even though it's technically, I think I've laughed harder in other movies. I think as a whole, this movie is just, though, hilarious. It is The Great Race. It is a movie that is such a classic of a comedy. I don't know if you've seen it or not. We've talked about it before on our top 5 family films, or you might know it's number 1 on that for our family. It's just such an epic comedy on all levels, and I've said it before, it's a Looney Tunes in live action type of thing. You know, Professor Fate is the Daffy Duck that wants the spotlight from the always perfect Bugs Bunny, or in this case, the Great Leslie. You know, and he's always trying to do everything sneaky and slimy to get the popularity, but when it comes down to it, he's just unlikable. Nobody likes him. He's never going to be beloved by the public, and every time he tries to do something to make it worse for Leslie, it just blows up in his face. It's such a great comedy. There's so many epic scenes. There's a giant fist fight. The epic pie fight where everyone's throwing pies, and of course the Great Leslie, who can never get dirtied or muddied. The whole thing is just walking through, not getting hit by a single pie. It's probably the most epic pie fight in the entirety of moviedom. There's so many great classic scenes where just like the evil bad guy of the town, there's this little shrimp of a man who doesn't even draw his own guns. The guy behind him draws them for him so he can, you know...
Fiddly-dee!
Yeah, that's great. Natalie Wood is amazing. She's such a fun character that she handcuffs herself to things because she's a suffragette. And there's an amazing thing where like the suffragettes are trying to get into this newspaper, but the guy won't let him. But his wife is the leader of the suffragettes, so he's like, he'll open the door and she'll fall out. Oh! He's like, oh, sorry, dear, I'm so sorry. She's like, oh, will you hire women now? It's like, oh, no, never. He's like, okay, well, dinner's at 5:30. Okay, slap. Oh, sorry. And it's so great. Frankly, just get the bird. And of course, we got the actor who does Columbo. He is, I'm forgetting his name again. Peter Falk. He is amazing. He's probably my favorite character in the film. And then we got, of course,
Jack Lemmon
as Professor Fate. There's so many great acting in this movie.
And I think the villains are more enjoyable to watch than the heroes in this because Peter and Jack are so likable.
They're so much fun.
They're so likable that they're evil. And they play off each other so well.
And the physical comedy is so great. There's a scene where they're trying to throw Natalie Wood out. They throw her out, but she gets back in before the door closes. Then they throw her out again, but Max closes the door before the professor's able to get in. And then she kicks him. He's like, why are you kicking the professor? The professor kicks him, and I don't know. It's a classic in every step. It's a movie. It's a long movie. If you ever decide to watch it,
has a lot of different genres thrown in there because of the traveling.
It's a western. It's
so they travel through, and there's they even have sword fights because it's like medieval. They go through a lot of there's a lot of action, adventure, and thrown in there. And I think it's one that definitely should be watched. It's an older movie, but the older are classics.
And I definitely think it's a movie that I would definitely recommend to anybody. As I say though, it's a long movie, so if you're gonna watch it, maybe give yourself some time of the day. Make sure you have lots of popcorn ready, and brace yourself for one heck of a ride.
And my number one is one of the best films ever made by John Hughes, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. You have two John Hughes movies back to back.
That's right, because he's such a great director. And I have them back to back because they always go from one or two spot. I think Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you know what? When I first heard about this movie, I didn't even want to like it. I was just like, I've seen the poster, the guy's doing this, looks really silly, I'm not going to even go near it. And then someone was watching it on TV and I was just like, I wonder what's on. Oh, they're watching that movie. I'm not going to like it. This movie's freaking awesome! And I watched the ending first and then I rewatched the whole movie and man,
when Cameron was in...
I love Cameron. He's a depressed guy that's not even... He's got friends, but he doesn't want to leave his bed. because his parents are rich and like he's
nobody cares. It's such a weird movie to watch because like
his dad's got this brand new spanking car, and what is he gonna do? He's gonna let his best friend take it for a spin.
He stole it. Let's be fair.
Yeah, he probably did.
Ferris is a grand theft guy. He's a hacker. He's hacked into the school system. Herrick is a criminal and should be put behind bars. But Cameron's a gem. But there's so many great moments in that movie where they con their way into a all-star restaurant. That's great.
Yeah.
How Ferris gets onto that parade float, I'll never know.
I love the line delivered from the lady at the school, the secretary. Oh, the dweebs, the idiots, they all love him.
They think he's a righteous dude. Dweeby, dickheads. No.
Oh, I just get a kick out of that. And the principal's just obsessed with finding this one kid that's gonna actually. He wastes more time trying to find Ferris and figure out why he's not showing up to school than he does just staying at the school. He does. This is what gets me. Simone leaves early. And he doesn't even bat an eye. He doesn't even care.
Well, but I mean, she got in trouble for it.
Did she get in trouble?
Remember, she gets taken to the police station because she finds him there, and she calls the police, and then the mother has to pick her up for making a fake call, even though the principal was there. But then she meets up with Charlie Sheen.
Well, if he was a real principal, he'd say, "No, this is a student. This isn't the mother of."
To be fair, Chris, he was breaking and entering.
Well, yeah, but anyways, I digress.
Anyway, the movie is an epic movie. I love the fun little moments like where the guys take they joyride in Cameron's dad's car and you go dun da 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 dun dun da da da.
Actually, that's not the song they play during that.
Well, was it Star Wars?
I think it was Star Wars.
Anyways, either way, it was a pretty good. That was a great scene. There's lots of great scenes in this movie.
Oh, and the dancing scene when he gets up on the float and starts dancing. Mm-hmm. I mean, the crowd the crowd starts dancing with him, and oh man, the epicness of it.
There's one scene that always bothered me.
Bothered you?
Yeah, bothered me. Because he's like, I don't want to see my daughter out the door by herself. I don't want any. And he slaps Cameron and says, that's too suspicious. Then it's like, well, what do you want him to say? So Cameron panics. He's like, actually, I want you in front with him. Then he starts screaming on Cameron. He's like, how am I supposed to pick her up if he's out there with him? Well, what did you want him to do? You just told him to change the plan. Anyway, that scene always bothers me. But everything else about the movie is great. And I love how the ending where he's just like, you're still here? It's over. Go home.
How many people stayed after the credits to see that?
Probably not many, but then the rumors started spreading.
Yeah. I wonder if that was the first after credits scene.
It's possible. That's the earliest encounter I know, but I'm not a movie historian. But Matthew Broderick, he's great in that movie. They're all the actors are really good in that movie.
Yeah, I can't remember all the names, like the girl or Cameron. I forget the names of the actors. But I mean, you gotta give it props for being one of John Hughes' best films ever made, and definitely awesomely written. Even the ending when he's trying to get home, like you're thinking, nah, he's not gonna make it home, and
then Sloan helps him out.
Yeah, that's right. It all comes around. So that is my #1 favorite comedy ever made.
Well, hopefully you can let us know what your favorite is in the comments below, and even just tell us what movie moment made you laugh the hardest. And we'd love to know that, and just put it in the comments below. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time. Be sure to check out some of these other videos on my channel. And wait for more coming soon.